All right, Sunday morning, kinda. We're gonna do some back testing. I tried to do a back test earlier and my computer blue screened. So I took a break and we're back. So I'm gonna do August 4th. Today I'm just gonna try to vibe with the 1 minute. One thing I wanna start doing some other like fun back tests rather than like always doing the same strategy. I guess I could keep doing the same strategy, but I think I've back tested it enough. I mean, this is what video number 24 on the back testing series, August 4th Euro Yen. So I think that I want to start just playing around with like indicators or something just for fun, or I don't know, because one of the reasons I started doing YouTube was just to make sure that I stay on top of my back testing. I think it's very important to, you know, keep your eyes true to yourself, and you know, keep your what's it called? Keep your hours up. What is it called when you know you like a pro in sports and stuff? You got to keep practicing, or else you're gonna kind of lose that muscle memory and lose that edge, I guess. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of how to mix it up. I think maybe when I get to video 25 on this, maybe I will. Maybe I'll start like testing out pivot points or RSI or MACD or something weird like that. But anyways, here we are, and we are. Let me get the back test helper popping. I'm gonna August 4th. All right, he popping now, and we'll get to the 15-minute candle. I want to see what's going on. Looks like we're in an uptrend. That's dope. So let's mark it out. Let's mark this out as our this is our line, and if we dump all the way down here, it most likely be this area of demand. So this is what we're doing, and this is kind of what's going on right now in my eyes. But I want to just use the 1 minute to kind of like gauge what we got going on, and I want to trade mostly off the 1 minute, just marking out our extremes. So we obviously massively dump down, we pull up, we have a V-shaped move, and then we fail to break any significant highs in here, and then we make a head and shoulders pattern. So now what I want to do is I think I'm just going to sell right off the bat here, because I do think that we continue to run down even though we spiked massively, because we made this head and shoulders a head and shoulder pattern. Because we made this head and shoulder pattern, I think that we continue running lower. So we'll do this. We'll just take it right to the lows. Why not? It's 1 of 3. I have a feeling that if we continue to dump, we'd probably want to do it from higher, but let's see what happens. All right, so the head and shoulder pattern played out, and so we got a nice 1 of 3 right at the start of our trading session. That's awesome. So +3 there. Let's continue following this trend and see what happens. Maybe I should have expanded this and tried to trail my stop rather than just taking the 1 to 3. It's something that I'm practicing on live, but I haven't quite got the hang of yet. So we got close to our trend line, got close to our demand, and we're pushing up. Unfortunately, we don't touch it, so we will have to keep going. Now, I think I've said this on previous videos, but when we have these downward impulses like this, oh shoot, just draw it like this, like this here. This is these really tight, channels of just bars just going straight down, free falling. We do expect a new low. So right now I'm expecting a new low right here, and that would coincide with our bias about hitting that area of demand on the 15-minute, which is right here. So let's see what happens. Can we get there? We got there. Okay, so if I see some kind of bullish momentum out of here, I will want to take the trade. I'm considering taking this as a risky trade here, risky entry. It's got a nice rejection off of the 15-minute area of demand, and it's right off the 15-minute trend line. I don't want to get too hasty though. I'm sad that we gave up. We didn't get some of this profit, but I want to see what happens if we can get a pullback, maybe, and continue, and then bounce from that pullback. That'd be really nice. So this is an entry that I want to take. We just broke back above, and we had a pullback. It's showing that we're kind of respecting this 15-minute trend line and 15-minute area of demand. So we'll take a 1 to 3 on the way back up. See if we can get it. One thing I didn't realize is that this stop loss is quite large, 14 pips. But if this momentum were to continue, like if there's enough money in the market, it could push us back up for sure without too much worry. Unfortunately, I don't think we get our trade here, and we run lower. So one thing we wanted to observe here is that there's still a lot of downward momentum in the market. We didn't really give it much respect. We just tried to catch the bottom off of this, but that's fine because I still think that's a good trade idea in most cases. But we're still running lower. So whenever we run like a massive trend like this, so like if I were to put this on the other side, we do expect a new high at some point, and that new high could form from possibly an area of demand. So we can just mark out this area. I would actually rather just refine it down to here, but I don't know if we get there, so we'll just have to see what happens. We don't want to get too hasty. We'll just keep following the downward trend until we get there. Looks like we did get there. Let's see if we can get a pullback. We're consolidating right above this area. Normally this is somewhere where I'd look for a buy, but we already made that mistake one time. So we just want to make sure. We want like a nice pullback. So this is still respecting our areas down here. Let's see if we can get a nice bounce into it though. Do we run the low? We don't know yet, because now we're in double bottom territory. The way that I classify double bottom is if price closes below this area with a wick, area of demand. Let's see how to explain it. When we're in a wick at a low, if price closes below the wick, then it is invalidated. But if it passes the wick with the wick and then closes above, I have to get better at these explanations. Basically, if a body passes the bottom of this box, then it's invalidated. But if a wick passes it, then it's a rejection and we're fine. So that's a body and that's invalidated. No double bottom for us. No reset. We're still in a downtrend. Now we're in our lowest area of demand here. And if we get a pullback, that'd be really nice. I'm not sure how far we can pull back. I think this might be the place where we missed our trade. One thing I do want to see is I want to see if we can get a breakout here to the downside, just to get us back in this, and so we can get on the trend for a buy. I want to see a pullback to here, but there's a lot of momentum, a lot of money coming in the market right now. We probably should have looked for an entry here, but it was just too late, and the momentum came in without any warning, any pullback. We just had an idea that it would bounce from here. So instead of the trend line, it played off of this extreme here. So now that we've got a bounce, we've got our range from here to here. Let's see if we can get a pullback to this area. I would actually probably draw the range from here to here, take the most recent swing point like I was saying in the video, and then we'll just still wait for the same area for a bounce. But it looks like there's a lot of bullish momentum in the market here, so we're not getting any it's an unrelenting trend so far. Now we're finally getting some bears coming in the market just for a little bit. Someone's taking profit. we're still having this like upward type of trending move with like an overshoot. So let's see here. Lots of wicks on the bottom of this 15-minute area. There we go. Let's see if it can push us lower into our area of demand. So right now we've cleared out these orders, but we still have these below here. So I want to see the reaction at this wick here. See if we can get a clear of it. So we just cleared that wick. Let's see if we can get a bounce. So I will enter this. It's kind of aggressive because I think we would need another impulse down. But let's see if we can get this. I would rather enter on this area of demand, but I do like the amount of momentum that we had to get out of this area. So we'll see. I will take 2 chances for a buy from this area here. And we'll see if we can take off. But when the market likes to move in pairs, so when you push down, like when we get a push like this, we expect a pullback, and then one more push lower. So this is very aggressive. It's very hasty. I actually don't like it that much. But let's see what we got. Okay, we are kind of topping out. If we can push higher than this wick here, then I will trail my stop. But I didn't want to break even just yet. Okay. So now that we're pushing higher, I'm actually going to lock in whatever this is here, probably a 1-to-1 or something. So if the price comes back down past this area of demand, I don't think I want to be in this trade just because it has shown us that we've had enough rejection at the top and we could be continuing lower. So there we go. I don't know what that is, but we'll calculate it. Oops. Okay, 0.89. Was that even worth it, y'all? Was that even worth it? I think it might have been worth it to stay, but I have an idea about this trade that it runs lower if we have more rejection up here. So I wanted to take the err on the side of caution, as it were. Coming down for the area of demand off of that recent push. I don't believe it. I think it's a liar. I think we had too much rejection at the top side. So now we're at the lowest point. We don't want to get trapped here. I want to actually mark this out. We've created a lot of orders in this trading range type of pattern here. You can see that we have these highs here, tons of wicks, and we have all of these lows down here. So we want to make sure that we only take a trade from the lows now if we're going to buy. So now we're in our overall area of demand that we were looking for, and we don't want to just take this trade. Normally we could, but the area is quite large, so we want to see if we can get another pullback down into here for a buy. I like the 2 wicks here, and I like this candle. 3 wicks to the bottom here. It's triple bottom right in our area of demand. Nice big engulfing candle. I do want to take this trade, even though it'll be a little bit large. But I like that. I also like that the low of this candle is higher than this low, so it shows that there is some more rejection from there. So it's just extra confirmation for our trade. Normally I would be targeting these wicks here, but since our stop loss is so large, we unfortunately have to go a bit higher for our 1 to 3. Now what can happen is that we do have a ton of missing price in here. So a lot of times price can make this type of move and then want to fill in the gaps in here in these candles, but we're counting on that not happening, and we're just kind of going with the we're counting on this reversal move to hold. Okay, maybe we will be seeing that lower low if we don't bounce from here. Reason I'm clicking through this slowly is I'm trying to see if we take off for a break even, because I don't like the way that the trade's looking. Yeah, I don't like the way the trade's looking, especially now, where we have all of these wicks forming in this short channel like this. Now, whenever this happens, if you're out of the trade, just try to find a rejection up from the top of this like trading range and then sell through it, because what's happening is a lot of orders are collecting and price is getting ready to dump most of the time. Most of the time. Let's see what happens here. And there would be the part where you'd sell from, but we unfortunately did not get a good point to break even from, so we lose the trade. And so now we've got one more area if we're looking for buys, because I still think I want to look for buys since these highs broke structure. We want to look for buys from basically this whole red zone here. And if we can get down here and we get some bullish momentum coming out of the market, then we can take a good trade. And this is the last area where I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll risk taking a buy here. That is a giant candle, and I would most likely take this. And the reason I would take this is because it's from our extreme area, but I'm gonna just actually make the stop loss a lot larger, and we're gonna do something really crazy. We're gonna take it to the next 15-minute area of supply, because we expect a new high from the breakout of this channel. We've got a kind of a double bottom here within our giant area of demand, and so I don't think I usually go for these large of a trades. I probably err, like I said, err on the side of caution a bit more, but I do see this pattern playing out potentially. We had this giant uptrend, we broke out, we attempted to break back in, but in that we broke structure on the micro time frame here on the 1 minute, and now we expect a new high right to the top of this area of demand. But if we don't get it, this would be our area where we'd start seeing another reversal from. So let's see if we can get it. I'm gonna drag it down just a little bit more. Want that 1 to 7 even. I don't know why, it just makes it feel good, but I guess 1 to 704 is fine. Let's see what we got. Okay, pushing up. I want to see if we can manage this trade. But I do think that we caught our runner so far. I'm trying to make a case for moving my stop loss up here, but I don't think that's enough profit. So we're just going to keep going. Here's the scary part. We're at the 15-minute trend again, but looks like we just blast right through it. It's actually crazy that we got this. This is actually nuts. I'm not going to lie. I did not expect this to work, but I'm kind of happy it did. So here's the part where I sabotage myself. I want to move my stop into a safe spot. I want to keep most of my profit, and I think it's actually a 1 to 3 almost right here. I kind of want to move my stop loss right at 1 to 3, right under this wick here. So I'm going to do that. We're going to take the self-sabotage L if we do. This is around right here. So if we, there's no, so the reason this is self-sabotage, there's no reason to do this, right? Look at all the bullish momentum. If we get a pullback, the worst place that it'll probably go is here. And you're still profitable, even by 1R, right? You have 1% gain still from that area, right? So that'll at least pay for one of these losses. And if you're putting your stop loss here and it just comes back right now, which it has to most likely because you know it's had all this momentum, the people that made this buy move also want to take profits just like you, right? So this is a really bad idea to move your stop loss up so early if you assume that it's going to be up here, because what you're doing is instead of giving you're giving up 4R to hold on to 3, right? The better move would probably be to partial. And maybe I could start partialing in my videos. but the better move would be to partial here, and then you know, continue going about your day, right? Partial, move your stop to break even, let it run, take whatever profit you can. But today we're gonna put our stop loss here, and we're gonna practice our self-sabotage game. Almost got it, and there we go. So we got our 3R, and that's okay. We will look for a re-entry. But I just wanted to kind of discuss that. That's actually what's been happening to me in the live markets. I've been doing a lot of this negative math against my account, where I'll catch something like this, and then basically it'll, you know, it'll do exactly what I think it's gonna do. It's gonna make me cry. It makes me cry. So now, if we want to draw out our range, we have it from this swing point to this high, with our area of demand being right where I circled just a few minutes ago. It's right here. So this is where we're waiting for a buy from. Most likely, it won't come down here on the first try. I would assume that it gets stuck over here, because a lot of times, you know, support turns resistance, resistance turns support. Same thing with supply and demand. So this area can also be an area of demand. So let's see what happens. So we get there, we make our quasi. Quasis are liars. I feel like I should move this 15-minute trend line because it's irrelevant almost. So let me do that, because we already know we're expecting a new high. We're expecting it to run up here. So now that we're in our one of our previous areas, you know, that support term resistance, I don't know what it is. Resistance to support. Resistance to support. Now that we have a right shoulder here, we can probably take this. We do expect a new high. So what I'm gonna do, since it's shown some promise, is I'm just gonna re-enter. If we give one back trying to re-enter, then so be it. But we still think it runs higher. So, and we had two ideas of where it could run. So we'll just do this. Let's see what happens. Okay, little pop, give us false hope as it runs toward our stop loss. Oh, there it goes. All right, so that's a -1. I feel like I should take a tally of like how often I go against the patient side of my brain, because, you know, if you have patience, then you don't take this trade. But you also don't take this trade, right? So I guess there's a give and take with that ideology. Let's see if we can get down to the lows here. Okay, so we didn't get down to the lows. I'm wondering where we bounced from. I'd probably have to check a higher time frame. Let's see where we bounced from on the 15-minute. Just a near miss. So see if we can get lower. That's a nice rejection. I probably shouldn't have clicked again, but let's see what happens. I think we push up from here. I like these W patterns. Let's see. Yep, there it goes. So here we just ran a little bit lower. We didn't get to any areas, any significant area. And then we just reversed. Like, they were just like, hey, money's going out. But we broke. The reason I like this pattern and why I wanted to buy here, why I probably should have bought, is we broke this microstructure here, and then we pulled back, and then we failed to break this low. We had this nice candle here, and so I could have entered there, probably could have entered here riskily, but I really like this pattern because it's just showing the momentum for bullish. Like, this move is starting to come back into play again, right? So now we're expecting a new high here, so we'll have to see if we get it, because we're looking at the market under the lens of this is an uptrend, and when we break out of this uptrend, this up channel, we expect a new high. So I don't see anywhere for me to enter just yet. Now we're starting to get some kind of pullback. We could take the aggressive entry here, If you draw, it's like, say if you drew a range from here to here, this would be your area of demand to buy from. But I think that's a bit too aggressive for where I'm at right now with my life. So, you know, I'm chilling for a minute. I'm chilling for a minute. There's a lot of pullbacks that aren't quite pulling all the way back. Maybe that's a euro yen thing. I'm not sure. In any case, we're about to get our new high. Let's see if we get like some kind of rejection. Okay, cool. This is great. This is great for us. So what's happening here is we still expect a new high, but we're rejecting from this area of supply, right? So now what we have to do is we have to wait, because now there's two moves in play, right? We have kind of a double topish pattern, which means that we can run from here down to basically here, or even here. I mean, there's a few spots. I would say this is unmitigated as well, so like this hasn't been touched. So I'd say we can move into here, or we can move into here. So one giant zone we can mark it out as, but I'm just gonna mentally mark this one out. So this move's still in play, and then there's this one here, right? The bigger range that's in play that hasn't been touched. And so there's not that many orders sitting in here. Price didn't spend too much time down here, so I can see I can see us just bouncing from one of these areas more so than running all the way down. But we'll have to react to whatever happens. If I get a nice engulfing from in here, that's like a significant weight and size, then maybe I'll take it. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we just filled in that missing price. Now this is putting us in a tricky spot, because on the 1 minute we just broke structure here. It is bouncing from the area, one of the areas that we assumed we would bounce from, and it made a quasi pattern. So if we're feeling it, we could take it. What I like to do in this situation is, if the market puts me in a tough spot, I usually like to either look at some other pattern and see what else could be playing out. So if we take the same rule that we took for this larger one that's playing out, then we also still expect a new high from. We expect a new high for all this. Basically, this move still needs a new high, and this longer move still needs a new high here once we break out, right? So let's see if we can get that. This is a very tricky spot, and normally I would just I would just wait. If I was in the wrong mood, I'd probably take this, but either way, I can see this going either way most of the time. There's a lot of things telling us that we're trying to maintain that bullish momentum, but I do think that this is a riskier play. I would have liked price to come down further into here before taking this. Like, if this whole move happened at the bottom of this, I would be like, okay, yeah, that's the one right there. But no, this doesn't feel right yet. Unfortunately, when we go by feelings, this is what happens. So we did get our new high, right? And now we still need a new high for this one here. We're actually at 11 though, so maybe I should end the back test here. Let's see if we can get another trade. So I do want to figure out if we can get one more. Unfortunately, I hesitated. I actually think that I approached the market, or at least this back testing market, with a little bit more restraint than I normally have, because if you look at this in terms of a range, I think we get a 50%. No, yep, we get a 50%. So heavy area demand here, I'd probably mark out this whole thing, and then you'd probably have to take a risky trade from here if you were doing it, but I did not do that, so we did not get money. So we had two risky trades on this actually that we could have taken, and one was this. Let's see if it would have played out. So basically you put your stop loss here, and your 1 to 3 would be right here. So this one would have played out, and then we had the second one that was also risky, which was this right here, where you're just like, okay, it's in the 50%. It tapped into the zone of demand at the 50%, so let's take it. You put your stop loss under the area of demand, and then you just take it to the top, and that would have been 1 of 3 easily. So we missed 2 risky trades here. This, I wasn't even looking here. So overall, not too bad of a session. I think we got a little messed up on some of these. I don't know. See, here's the thing. Why would I take a risky trade here based off of supply all the way over here, but not take these 2 risky trades based off of immediate price action? That's one of the questions I have to answer for myself. So this was, what's it called? There's a few things. Well, there's a few things I could have done better in terms of with the buys. I could have trailed this down. So maybe if I had put my stop loss above like the impulses, like wait for a pullback and then put the stop loss above it instead of getting scared and just taking our 1 to 3, we probably could have caught a lot. Could have caught a lot more. Could have caught a lot more. But we messed up on that. We tried to buy here. I don't remember why, but we tried to buy here, so that's a mistake because this was already pushing down, right? This was the last impulse. The last impulse was impulsing down. Then we got down to here. We missed this trade. That's fine. But then this buy was very interesting because we were already waiting for, that pullback. So we probably could have, I don't know. We could have waited for something. This probably would have been a loss regardless, or a mistake. This was probably really hasty because it was in the middle of space. We did have this area of demand that we took it from, but it wasn't that great. I'm really happy with this trade. I probably could have waited a little bit longer because usually with these big candles, price will normally pull back. And if you've done your own backtesting, you probably see that, or if you've watched my other backtesting videos, you probably see that as well, where I enter on these and price will pull back into my stop loss. We take some drawdown and we cry. Yeah, overall, not a bad session. It probably could have gone better. I probably could have taken some more risks on this side just based off of the 1 minute ranges that I was talking about in the most recent video. Yeah, I'm pretty happy, and that's Euro Yen on August 4th. And what do we got? Yeah, 3.89. 3.89R, not bad. You get 3% a day, keeps the job away, so we'll see. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a happy life wherever you are. Stay safe out there. It's crazy.